why not try a holistic approach first? But you know why, right? Because they trust they think they're God. They think
well, they think it's the only thing to do. And I mean, it's you walk into a hospital, it's very intimidating. It's a multi-million-dollar facility. There's all this high-tech stuff. There's all these people walking around who all believe the same thing. It's very much like a religion.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to cancer, I mean, the numbers are in. I mean, conventional.
Let's talk about that. The video that when I first heard about you was when I saw your video that you did on chemotherapy and how you stated that chemotherapy only works 97% or doesn't work 90% of the time, right?
Yeah, there was an Australian study that was published, and they did a retrospective analysis of tens of thousands of cancer patients and came to the conclusion chemotherapy is a bad expenditure of money for cancer because it just doesn't work. But I mean, it's not just that. And these are data from the Center for Disease Control, right? Small cell lung cancer survival rate, 95% of people who get that type of cancer are dead within 5 years of getting it, 95%. Ovarian cancer, 67% of people who get that are dead after 5 years. Pancreatic cancer, 98% of people who get it are dead. And this is with conventional treatment, by the way. This is with conventional treatment. Prostate cancer, 69% are dead after 5 years. Stomach cancer, 98% are dead after 5 years. I mean, these are the numbers presented by the Center for Disease Control, the American Cancer Society. It doesn't work. I mean, Novocaine works. I'm a big fan of Novocaine. Novocaine. Every time I'm in the dentist's office, I thank God for the guy who invented Novocaine. It's great. But conventional cancer treatment doesn't cure cancer. And to make it even more interesting and, quite frankly, intellectually insulting, because of this unbelievable failure rate when it comes to cancer, about 15 years ago, more or less, the American Cancer Society and the American Medical Association started using the term 5-year survivorship when they talk about cancer. Mm-hmm. So, most people, they'll get cancer, they'll go to their oncologist, and their oncologist will say, well, you've got prostate cancer. You have a 69%, you have a 31% chance of surviving this illness. 31% chance of surviving this illness. And the patient thinks, well,
right,
31%, that's pretty good. I'm going to roll those dice.
Right.
But what the oncologist means is there's a 31% chance that you're not going to die from prostate cancer within 5 years. That's what it means. It's a 5-year survivorship metric inside of which all cancer patients are treated. So if you have prostate cancer and you live for 5 years and 1 day, and then you die from prostate cancer, that's considered a successful outcome to the statisticians. And, most people on the street, they have no idea how to interpret medical statistics. They have no idea. They think that the people delivering the treatments are honest.
Right.
And, we go from bad to worse. And what we need desperately in the United States is a free medical market. We need insurance to pay for my type of medicine the same way that it pays for MD medicine.
Yes,
universities to do research with my type of medicine the same way that they do for allopathic medicine.
Hey, can you get on that? Can you fix that?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, let's do it.
We need a free medical market because inside of a free medical market, people would gravitate towards what works.
Absolutely.
Right? But right now, it's kind of like, for most people in the United States, it's like the government passed a law that said, well, ladies and gentlemen, the only people that can sell hamburgers in your state are McDonald's. People wouldn't be okay with that. Oh, the only people that can sell gasoline in your state is ExxonMobil. Well, people wouldn't be okay with that. The only people that can sell automobiles in your state is Toyota. Nobody else gets to sell an automobile there. We'd pitch a fit.
Right.
But that's exactly the way that it's been with medicine.
Right.
But it's been that way for so long that people don't know it's that way.
Yeah.
People look around and they see their medical doctors are everywhere all the time, and they think that because the medical doctors are everywhere all their time, they must be better at what they do than everybody else. And that's a lie.
Yeah.
The only reason they're everywhere all the time is because they legislated themselves there. They kicked everybody else off the bus.
Yeah.
It was a hostile takeover of the system of medicine. It's been in place for 112 years.
Yeah, it's such a travesty too, because I know like they would have paid $500,000 for me to have chemo, but do you think that they would have paid 1 penny for my hyperbaric chamber and my infrared sauna and all these and for you? No.
Well, that's one of the ways
terrible
that the monopoly is maintained.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And also it might interest your listeners to understand that in the United States, you sitting down, ladies and gentlemen, I'd put something heavy on your head. It's about to explode.
Uh-oh.
The only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. In the United States, the only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. So if I discovered that, you know, earthworm extract cured autism, the earthworm extract would be made into a drug, and you would be only able to get it with a pharmaceutical with a prescription. Which is also why when you go to the health food store and you look at vitamins and herbs and nutritional supplements, it's against the law for the manufacturer of that supplement to put a disease name on the label.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. So you can't put on the blood sugar support, you know, formula, diabetes treatment. That's against the law. You're going to go to jail. You can put blood sugar management. You can't put arthritis treatment, even though it's been proven in clinical trials published to be an effective treatment. You can't do that. And people are unaware of this. Nobody knows. And this is another way that the pharmaceutical industry and the medical doctors ensconce their place at the top.
Yeah.
Because they just make it impossible for anybody else to compete. And this is the reason why chronic illness is escalating. Autism has risen right now. It's like 1 out of 60.
Yeah.
Years ago, it was 1 out of 10,000. Alzheimer's now, right? It's risen from obscurity to the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. Heart disease, unchanged in incidence over the last 40 years. Arthritis, escalating. Type 2 diabetes, escalating. Obesity is a morbid epidemic in this country. And it all happened over the last 100 years.
Right.
While the medical doctors have been in control. It happened on their watch. It's their fault. They are the only industry that fails and fails and fails and fails and fails and fails and bankrupts and fails again, and they still maintain their seat at the top. And it is because of gigantic pharmaceutical money and an entrenched political system that has so much inertia. It's going to take an act of God to overcome it.
Well, the only thing we can do is continue to spread the word like what we're doing. And speaking of disease, you know, as my wheelhouse is really helping people reverse their type 2 and prediabetes. And I know you're of the same position as me, where I'm 100%. Well, I know that type 2 and pre can be reversed because I've helped many clients do that. And I've actually learned from you a very specific protocol. It's about the 90 essential nutrients. You want to talk a little bit about that, how our body needs these